Greetings and welcome back to another episode of His Will for Your Life. I am your host, Sherry Lavon Harris, and we're going to continue on in this episode about our health. We have joining us Jason Bankston, and he's going to share his insight on our health as a holistic health educator. We're going to delve into the vital aspects of our health and well-being that are crucial for leading a fulfilling life as we explore the significance of maintaining a balanced diet, engaging in regular physical activity, and ensuring proper rest and relaxation to promote overall well-being. And additionally, we will discuss the importance of mental health and strategies for managing stress, anxiety, and other mental health challenges that may arise. Furthermore, we will touch upon the benefits of establishing healthy habits such as mindfulness practices, meditation, and gratitude exercises to cultivate a positive mindset and enhance emotional well-being. We also examine the role of social connection and relationships in promoting mental health and emotional health by prioritizing self-care and adapting healthy lifestyle choices. Individuals, we can enhance their quality of life and achieve a state of optimal health and well-being. Join us as we dive into this discussion, and we hope that you will be blessed and inspired and encouraged by what you hear tonight. Please like, tag, and share, and we will be right back.
His will for your life with Cherie Harris. This is your weekly Wednesday 7 p.m. podcast. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Informative, hot topics, testimony, interviews, along with your weekly guests and more. And now here's your host, Cherie Harris.
Greetings, and we're back, and we've been having some technical difficulties, but I'm sure we're going to get through this fine tonight by being close up. And as you know, I don't like to be close up like this, but we're going to do this show tonight, right? How are you, sir?
I am doing well. So blessed and honored to be on this platform. I'm digging that intro, man. I'm over here bopping, you know.
Thank you.
It's real for your life, you know.
Yes. Yes. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to share with our audience who you are and what you do.
Yes, hallelujah. Blessings to you all. My name is Jason Bankston. Some may know me by Yasan, my name is Jason Bankston, and I am hailing from Brooklyn, New York, where I still am a paramedic for about a little over 12 years now, and also a holistic educator and health coach. And so basically, as a paramedic and health coach, I created a company called Good Ground Seed to help people with exactly what your intro was stating in regards to helping them eliminate, unhealthy habits that cause chronic disease and death by replacing them with healthy lifestyle changes, but also education. And that's key. I feel as if that, as a medic and having different patients, it wasn't that the people didn't want to eat healthy or they just, were ignorant all the time. They just literally didn't know how to go about it, and also a lot of misinformation out there that I love to cut down. So, it might get a little edgy, but you can go with me, right?
Yes, course. So I understand that you're an author and you have a book out. You want to tell us a little bit about your book?
Yes, absolutely. So after creating my company, Good Ground Seed, I literally put my experience and knowledge into a book that I have called "Have a Heal of a Time." Right now, currently on Amazon for those who like to, all you primers out there. So, "Have a Heal of a Time," and it's how to prepare your immune system with a 6-month wellness program.
Mm.
And so I focus on the immune system at the wake of the pandemic,
Mhm.
and it just really had like a revelation. It was like, this is what is needed, you know what I mean? Because they're not teaching the immune system properly,
Mhm.
and obviously it is something that the whole world is focused on, right? You need immunity from birth.
Mhm.
And so why isn't it the hottest topic, right? And so that book right there has been such a blessing to me. It really has been to me to write it and to be able to share it with others. And the feedback has just been overwhelmingly phenomenal. Like, I'm just like very humbled, by this whole experience. Be perfectly honest, I didn't start out to want to have a business, entrepreneur, write a book, none of this.
Wow.
So His Will for Your Life is legit my story, you
Oh,
know. Yeah, that's legit my story. So yep, that's my book there, and honored to share with you today.
awesome, awesome. I have to get my copy. I can do that after we go off air. Uh,
Yes, absolutely.
so, can you share your background and experience in holistic health education and what inspired you to pursue a career in this field?
Yes, so right, 20 years and 30 seconds, right? But nevertheless, if I can just be transparent, as again I said, I was not on this track of health and healing, even as a paramedic. I moved to New York. I'm originally born and raised Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
I moved there chasing music dreams, hip hop music, lights, fame, camera, action, right? And through that process, I actually became homeless.
Oh,
So when I became homeless, you want to talk about His will for your life, okay?
mhm.
I got to be transparent. He snatched me from that.
Wow.
And a whole year being homeless and sleeping on my sister's kitchen floor got
Mm,
me together about what I needed to do for other people.
mhm,
And finally got back on my feet. Took some EMT courses at night, became an EMT. Then I drove paramedics and had a lot
mhm,
of questions. Went back to school, became a paramedic.
mhm,
As a paramedic, I'm doing all the cardiac arrest and seizures, all the hard calls, right? And I'm in people's homes, and I noticed that people were heavily living with chronic disease due to the food that they ate.
mhm,
I would literally be working somebody up in a cardiac arrest. And, as the family is sitting there actually watching the whole thing, right? And you see them going in and out of their cabinets and their refrigerator, and you see the same products in every household. It's the Fruit Loops, it's the Carnation Milk, it's the
mhm,
Twix candy bars, it's the milk itself, right? It's all these same brands in every home. I'm talking about this is North South Bronx, this is Manhattan, this is Brooklyn, this is Staten Island. Same products, same homes, different boroughs.
mhm,
And I'm just like, hmm. So as I started to research the food,
mhm,
and I said, now wait a minute,
mhm,
you know, this is not what they said it is. I start to actually look at reading labels,
mhm,
and the thing that wanted me, that this is what caused me to actually want to create a company and get the information out there, is because as I researched the food in the FDA, and I learned
mhm,
that food companies were not required to list what preservatives they and additives that they use in the food. And I said, well, how can a doctor actually say you have diabetes because of this when you're eating things that you literally have no idea what you're putting in your body? So that turned everything upside down for me, because I'm steeped in the Western knowledge of medicine, getting ready to go further my career, possibly to a PA, maybe even doctor, right? I entertained it, But nevertheless, as I went back to school for a holistic education and coaching, I learned a lot about food processing, holistic means of healing, and what how to repair your body through just eating and diet, exercise, and lifestyle. And then what I had discovered is that we were actually we are taught wrong about our own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught wrong about our own. Like, it shouldn't be that I need to go with someone else to teach me about my own body, right? It
Right.
shouldn't be that way. But in fact it is. And then we have, my body is different than, say, my coworker's body, whatever nationality they may be. They have a
Mm-hmm.
different biochemical makeup. This is not about racism
Mm-hmm.
or being racist per se.
Mm-hmm.
This is just stating a fact that, in China, the Chinese man has Chinese medicine fit for him and his culture and his nationality and his people.
Right.
Right. And so we also have the same in our communities as well, and that we need to tap into that. So this has led me down a very wonderful journey that I did not intend on being this way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, just being very transparent. I don't want people to think that, hey, I had it all together. I had my business plan in place.
Right.
My business plan was a picture that I painted with a dollar water set.
Wow.
And I just painted good ground seed, and he was like, I want you to teach the people. So incidentally, my name Jason in the Grecian language means healer. So, I took that on, ran with it, but there's some things with that as well. But that's that in a nutshell, if I didn't take too long already, is what actually happened.
That's funny. And you said that was in the Greek or the Hebrew? Your name?
So Greek. Yes.
It was interesting. Pharmaceutical in the Greek, poison and sorcery and magical arts. And so now here is what we rely on for our health benefits, right? And I find it interesting that it is in the word. And then if you want to look in the Strongs, I think it's G5331, and they give you a list of scriptures, and it'll break down that word. And so we have to be mindful of what we're putting into our bodies, even from, a health expert or doctor. Our last night's guest talked about return to the garden, and that stuck with me because originally there was no meat to partake of, and so it was vegetables and fruit and barley and all those great things. So tell us a little more about good ground seed.
Yes, so good ground seed, it's actually a lot more than just getting people to actually eat healthy. I had to learn through this process that, like you said, going back to the garden, what I teach is a thing called spiritual food science. Is getting us back aligned with the Creator, the Most High, and the food that He created. The food was here before people. People say, what came before, the chicken or the egg? No, what came first, the plant or the seed? Because the food, the vegetation was here first. So that means the Most High knew that we needed certain nutrients and certain things in our body, chemical makeup for our mind, body, and spirit to function at a high optimum level. You were not designed to sit here and subsist and sickly get by. Okay. All these things came about through industry, and for our people through captivity. We don't want to talk about certain things, but I'm going to talk about certain things. This came through us from captivity, and multiple captivities, right? We adopted the ways of the heathen, right? That's Jeremiah 10. We adopted those things. Okay. And through epigenetics and our DNA, we pass those things down. So my company is basically literally trying to get you back in line with the Creator and the food that He created and the lifestyle that He created for us, because we were a sovereign people. We did not have to have such careers where we spend most of our time providing for people that we never spend time with, or trying to afford things that we barely get a chance to enjoy. It's all foolishness, right? Capitalism is not the Most High system at all. It's not His system, right? And so that stress that's derived from that system
Mm-hmm.
right? That causes what they call a pantothenic acid deficiency, which shrinks your adrenal glands on your kidneys and causes that deficiency, and also the cortisol toxifying your blood.
Mm.
It's a loop, and it causes organ failure over time. That same stress level, which most of us live at, I think it's like three levels: the fight or flight, repair, and then there's like exhaustion. Well, this lifestyle keeps us at exhaustion and causes you to eat all these comfort foods, toxic foods, candy, chips, pop, all these things, right? So the stress from a diseased lifestyle mentality,
Mm-hmm.
because you're out of alignment with your true nature. This is the truth of the matter. This is not gonna, you're not gonna hear no medical professional tell you this, right? Even in the holistic space, they
Mm-hmm.
want to say it's about the food, and it is. It's about raw, and it is. I build greenhouses. I grow food. Trust me, I know. Okay, it's
Mm-hmm.
about that, but it's about who created the food first.
Mm.
You have to understand that, because there's not bread alone, right? There's other things that's intertwined that comes with that food,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's an appreciation there. There's a relationship there. There's a relationship for a being to put things in nutrition and safety and care for me before I'm even here on the planet,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Same way you go out and you buy a crib, you're pregnant, you're happy, yay, you have your gender reveal, you get the crib, right? You get the baby food, you get all the nice gifts and blankets, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a trust fund, you can start opening up an account, get your finances together, right? You may even buy a house at that time now, because now you want your child to grow up in a home. Maybe you're in an apartment. You do all these provisions for this child. It's the same way that Most High did for his sons and daughters. And the food was an instrumental part of that. And we've gotten away from that through industry and simply just trying to make $1 million.
Right.
We've lost our way with that. So that has prompted me to create Good Ground Seed. I think it's in Matthew as is the scripture that I got, where he says about the parable of the seed sowing the seeds. That you sow the seeds on good ground, good ground seed, and you produce some 30, some 60, some 100 fold.
Mm-hmm.
So that scripture stuck out to me dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's exactly what I need to do. I need to plant the seeds of knowledge to help people to grow 30, 60, 100 fold, whatever their increase is going to be, because he's gonna give the increase, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's in a nutshell why I created this company, is to educate people to come back to the original maker of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who put the DNA there, right? It wasn't science. Science didn't put that there, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're manipulating it. They manipulate your DNA through the food and other various things they want you to put in your body. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not, the what they call natural, actually, or the right standing, or we would say righteous behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So in a nutshell, that's what prompted me to really want to create this company.
Right. And that's so in line with what this podcast is about, his will for your life. And so I have been going back to his original intent for us, and that's the whole man, the whole woman, what we put into our bodies, how we live, what we do, in his original name, and those things I find very important in this walk. And also studying the Torah has shed some light on things, even understanding the words that we hear on the norm and then hearing them in the Greek and the Hebrew. I'll give you a better understanding of what we're dealing with, like learning about pharmaceutical and what that really means. And you find that in the word. And so everything that we're dealing with, we find it back into his word and what he's saying. How do you approach creating personalized, holistic health plans for individuals, and can you walk us through that process?
Well, the reason why I wrote the book, going back to that, is it's education piece, but it's also information and also testimonial. But I have a 6-month wellness program right in the back of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not about selling books, but that program is a $60,000 program for free.
Wow.
I know people say things like this, gimmicky stuff all the time, but I'm not doing that. I was actually commissioned by the Most High Yahuwah to make it free.
Yes.
He said, "Freely you receive, freely you shall give." Go. What did Yahushua say? He said, "Go, heal your people, cleanse them, and remove demonic influence from them." This food is made from a demonic nature, keeps us in a very poor, low vibrating frequency, if you will. Okay, we are very much unclean and need to be cleansed from all this toxic, unclean food that we grew up on. And we certainly need healing, mind, body, and spirit, and it's all connected, you know. So what I do is I let them read the book, and I walk through the book step by step. I walk through the program step by step. I let them know that this is a template program, and now we sit down and we tailor make the program to fit for you, because your chemical makeup is different than mine, you know. Even if you have two of the same age, melanated young females or males, they're still going to be different. But we have been taught that a blanket health system is just plug and play, right? Just plug this in. What you got? Okay, inflammation there. Plug in this. You must have that. Take this and eat this. No, you don't know how I got that inflammation. My inflammation may literally be spiritual. May literally be spiritual. So this is how the Roman Catholic Church and also the governing bodies at the time, I believe it was in the 1800s. I could be wrong, but and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But this is when they actually made it a law that you can no longer say that medical conditions were due to spiritual conditions. It was a law. You would actually get killed for saying this. So they removed that. And they changed the mentality of the people to say, oh, that's not about spiritual condition. Hey, you need some pharmakia, right? Or snake oil, if you will, right? That's what you really need, right? Instead of
the word pharmakia is the word that's in that is translated to sorcery and magical arts and poisoning. It's pharmakia. Yeah, that's powerful.
You know, and so it's like once they did that, you know, and so for me, again, I love to educate. I give them resources, and to be perfectly honest, I don't just let them buy my book. I show them other resources that I use, because this is what this thing is really all about. You know what I mean? We have to get outside of trying to it's a scripture that's where we want to make prey of our people. We don't want to do that. That's what the enemy does. No, we want to help. I want to see you healed, right? I desire that. I love you, right? I love myself as I love my neighbor. Well, if I love myself, I'm going to eat the healthiest food, teach myself the right things, the way to go, follow Flora. I'm going to make sure I'm on track. And when I get off, I'm going to get myself together. Well, I should be doing the same exact thing for you. And I don't need to try to fleece you or make you join my ministry. Let's be real. Join my camp. All right. We touching on some landmines there, right? That's some landmines, but unfortunately, you have that as well, because that plays into your mental health.
Right.
You know, if I'm causing you to, if this is transactional, right? If that's our relationship, it's just transactional and conditional, then you might as well stay in the world. You know what I mean? What's the difference?
That's true.
There's no difference there. It has to be something different here. It has to be able to say, oh, well, I know you must be of the Most High Yah, because you do things that no other person can do. Or you see what I'm saying? That's how Yahushua was. And that's how we should be. So that's what I walk them through, is getting, here's the program, here's the template. But then I say, okay, now for you, what's going on with you? You know, you're almost like a psychiatrist. And you start out with food, and you want to talk about the habits and the healthy habits and the things they're eating. But you know what really happens? And I'm going to just keep it real with you. What really happens is people start going back to a 5-year-old when their uncle touched them. and nobody talked about that. And they've been eating that way and smoking and doing that since 5 years old. That's what has been happening to me. People have been divulging what has happened to them in their childhood. And then finally, maybe 2-3 sessions later, we get to what you're eating. Right? And this is real, man. Or they start saying, I'm having wild dreams and I don't understand. So, and I see things in real life that makes me reminded that. So I have a certain type of behavior, very anxious, impatient, or, argumentative. These are blockers or defense mechanisms that people put up, mental defense mechanisms, Or someone may say, even like it gets to their job, their career. They say, oh, I hate my job, my career. I mean, these people are making good money. I've had clients making very good money, very dissatisfied with their life. So again, it's not what we always think where it's just the food. So the way I walk them through it is get into a personal situation with them and make them feel comfortable with divulging their life, because that's what really comes down to. You don't just wake up and eat unhealthy. No one wakes up and just smokes crack and takes heroin. It doesn't look sexy at all. Right? Something happened to you. And so that's what even in my book, I have a chapter. I say, remember when you were little, try to remember when you started eating or when you smoke like that. Because I used to smoke. So I also teach smoking cessation. I teach you can stop smoking. You have to deal with the hard things in your childhood sometimes, and the hard things that maybe you did something, right? We're people, right? We sin, right? There's things they don't want to talk about these things, man. This is all taboo in the holistic space.
It is, and you touched on something earlier when you said, the world doesn't want to talk about it, but we know that some of our illnesses come from a spiritual point. Harboring unforgiveness in our heart can cause chest pains. It can cause backaches. It can cause high blood pressure and different things like that. But that's something we don't talk about much. But everything that we're going to talk about this month, maintaining what has been given, right? That's taking this word in now and applying it to that illness or that concern you have with your illness, because it's in the word.
Yes.
Everything that we are experiencing, everything that we're going through, it's in the word. And then when we read the word and we compare it to what he originally spoke about it in Hebrew, we'll get that understanding and we'll get a clear vision of what he's saying to us regarding our health and his will for our lives.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Yes. In your opinion, what are the key components of holistic health and how do you integrate them into your teaching?
Well, so again, lifestyle is a key component. I address the lifestyle right away, and I would say lifestyle, again, being connected with the creator, having what type of lifestyle you have, and then the vision for your life, like what do you want, and so those 3 areas. Now, each one you'll unpack it and it'll go into, many different layers there. But those are the 3 keys. I always start with the Most High. For me, I start with the word, even if they themselves are not on board with that type of understanding. I still operate that way. I operate from the faction that even as your soul prosper, may your health prosper, even as your soul prospers. And so I know prosperity has been, perverted, dealing with, religion and things of that nature. But again, like you said, it's in the word. John put it there for a reason, right? So we should eat off that, right? So how does my soul prosper, right, and be in good health? So that means that my soul and my body are aligned. And so just teaching them that understanding, it gets them off the natural, right? And they start to say, well, sometimes I feel a certain type of way, and they'll open up, and that dialogue produces solutions for them that they actually literally come up with. And that's what you have to help them. And so, I like to help the person help themselves, because if I do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I sell you the sea moss, I sell you the bladder rack and the one pill in my book. Great. What will happen? But if you do it,
Uh-huh.
now you have that connection, you have that relationship for yourself, and then now I can maybe help you manage that along the way. But you have to have it for yourself. So I do that. And then also, again, lifestyle, asking them, what's your daily routine? First of all, what do you not like about what's going on? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, they're trying to force us into a pigeonhole of time management. But the fact remains
Mm-hmm.
that you only have about 8 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
You work 40 of those hours,
Mm-hmm.
probably 60 in this inflationary times, right?
Absolutely.
You have to sleep 5 to 7 to 8 hours a day. That's about 35, 40 hours right there. So you're already at about 90 hours, 90 to 100 hours just work and sleep. You have 68 hours left
Mm.
for 7 days. Well, those of us keep the Shabbat, we know, that's a different thing. But 68 hours left to do what? Eat, shower, spend time with your family, right? Have some personal time, and hey, spend time with the Most High. So you're cramming all that in actually in 68 hours is what you're really doing.
Right.
It's not 7 days. It's not
Mm-hmm.
even 6 days. It's 68 hours. So what's that? What's the 72 is 3 days. So you're like about 2.5 days maybe that you have to cram your whole life in. And so
Mm-hmm.
once I break that down to people, they really start to see that, wow, I'm literally living for my job. I'm literally living and sleeping for my career. We say, well, how do you make money? And how do you do things like this? And what should I do? And it's like, all right, now let's start that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to dig into that as far as lifestyle to show them, here, you spend a lot of time here.
Mm-hmm.
And then what about your family? Because I'm going to tell you right now, and I've done hundreds of cardiac arrests, man. Hundreds. I've more stories than you ever want to know about the horrors that go on that are not making the news about what happens to people in their homes. And I can tell you one key thing that is universal. I'm talking about white, black, yellow, brown.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we go there and that person's laying there at that time deceased, whether we get him back or not, the story is always the same. I just talked to her yesterday. I talked
Mm-hmm.
to her last night. I was just on the phone with him. I just saw her last week at the mall. Everybody got the I just story about this person laying here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we are not taught how precious this time really is.
Mm-hmm.
We waste it, throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
And so bringing that knowledge, and sure they may know it, right? But bringing what Yahushua say, bringing those things into remembrance of what I was teaching you.
Mm-hmm.
And he would teach us about time all the time, right? You know the times in the sky, but you cannot discern the times now, right? Teaching us, showing us, right? Right? That we should always be aware of the time, right? And not waste it. And so that's a good key that has worked tremendously for people where they literally have changed careers, literally.
Wow.
Right. And so, and then the last one, so the Most High, and then lifestyle, and then education. So that's a big one. I like to, because a lot of people, like I said, they just need to know the right thing. They need to know that certain foods are electric and help their brain and their mood with their decision making. They need to know that how you feel is directly related to how you eat and the health, right? And your lifestyle, right? They need to know about their body, how it works, how it functions. They need to know that your gut is where all the extrapolation of nutrients takes place. So that's highly important, right? We're taught about everything else, right? Make the body look good in the gym, but the body inside is it's putrid, right? It's cancerous, ridden, it's diseased, and so they don't know that. So I think that those are the three keys. Is first of all, teaching them about alignment with the Most High, the body spots, mind, body, spirit, and also dealing with the lifestyle and then the education as well. So I would say those are my main three keys that my go-to, if you will.
Awesome, awesome. So we know that the word is your go-to, but how do you stay up to date with the latest research and trends in holistic health practices?
Okay, beautiful. Yes, that's where the education comes in, right? I constantly so I have what I call like a read label campaign. I said
Mhm,
just look up stuff, and as you look these things up, you realize that most of these things are compound chemicals and
mhm,
food science,
mhm,
right? And so there's always going to be the latest thing. The sea moss was the big craze, and now the raw diet is the big craze. Vegan is the big craze. Vegetarian, all these different categories, right?
mhm,
So I address them, and I show them that listen here. At the end of the day, the bottom line is making money.
mhm,
So money is going to dictate the marketing. Money is going to dictate the level of care that is going to actually be provided for you. Okay, it's always a withholding of something to keep drawing you in. So when I educate the people about the food that they eat, so for instance, right, a cracker, right, a cracker is generally water, oil, flour, salt, maybe a little baking soda, right? You buy a box of crackers and you got a dissertation on the side of the box, right? It's a whole paragraph. So then that's not a cracker anymore, right? That's a food product. That's a cracker food product, right? And so now they're just starting to have data showing what these food products are doing to us. They cause what they call silent inflammation in the body. That silent inflammation in the body, what it does, it also blocks up a lot in your gut. You have yeast, parasites, and worms blocking up in your gut and inflamed bowels that causes you to have nutrient deficiency, right? So through nutrient deficiency, you begin to have schisms and malfunctions in your body, right? And then you have organ failure. I call it a disease cascade. Because once you're small, you have the duodenum, jejunum, and your ileum. These are three major parts of your intestines that extrapolate the right amount of nutrients that you need for your mind, body, and spirit. So if you can't get calcium, magnesium, and zinc properly, if you have a deficiency in there, you possibly have, along with poor diet, right? Too much fat, not enough exercise, not enough rest, sleep deprivation, a lot of stress. You might have heart problems. Heart arrhythmia is what we'll call it, or AFib. Sometimes we call it when the heart is not functioning properly, right? Nutrient deficiency affects your entire body, right? Case in point with your 9 essential amino acids, right? Tryptophan is one of my go-to. I even put it on the cover of my book as avocado because it's very high in tryptophan, right? We all love avocado, but tryptophan with niacin that in your gut when you eat the avocado, it extrapolates the tryptophan and the niacin, uses it and converts it into serotonin, which is a key neurotransmitter. How about 70% of that is created in your gut and it goes to your brain through the blood brain barrier? So 70% of a key neurotransmitter is created in your gut through a food or foods. Now, what does serotonin do? Oh, it makes you feel good. But more than that, it's for your memory, cognitive functions, right? And yes, your mood and how you feel, even your sexual functionality. So one food or one 9 essential amino acid, right, is very important for the function of your body and your mind. Because you and I both know if you're not feeling too well, well, you might not make the right decisions. You may lash out. You may say, "Oh, I don't need to read that. That's fine. I don't need to read that Bible. The scriptures is fine. Socrates said, You start you start quoting Socrates and Plato, and get Obama. You start getting all your greats in there, right?
Right.
And you're getting away from the living word, right? You're getting away from that thing, and so this is what starts to happen to you. All from not eating properly. You're
Wow.
not thinking properly, and then you have disease cascade. Organ failure.
Mm.
So yeah, this is the technical part that I break down to everybody, teaching them how important your gut is, and it's not just about weight loss, because weight loss is just about looking good on the beach and getting into the wedding dress, you know what
Right.
I mean, and having the pecs for the girls. But in
Mhm.
reality, it's
Mhm.
about longevity. It's about generational health. It's about passing down great things to my children,
Mhm.
right? It's about healthy sperm and healthy ovum,
Right.
right? So I don't have degenerative diseases when my baby's born. I don't have the heart murmur. I don't have the Down syndrome,
Mm.
right? It's deep in that way. So I like to teach that clinical side of the holistic side space as well.
Mm. How do you communicate complex holistic health concepts in a clear, um, understandable way for your clients or your students, if you will?
So if they have children, I use their own children actually. If they don't, they can understand that even a baby. Even
Mhm.
a baby, you can see what they gravitate towards, right? What's good, what's not.
Mhm.
My youngest son right now, just turned 5. And as a baby, I remember he would literally grab raw celery, raw peppers, eat lemon, just eat lemon and make that little face. And so I say, okay, as a child, as a baby, you don't know how to read or talk or something, even walk. Mercy, you're pooping on yourself, everything, right? But
Mhm.
how is it that you gravitate towards those raw foods without someone telling you, right?
Mhm.
But what we do is we go against nature, right? And we'll say to mommy, here, buy formula.
Mhm.
Don't breastfeed, buy a formula,
Mm.
right? And how did a man trick you to buy a formula instead of what the Most High put in the breast for the child, to give the
Right.
child innate immunity, to give the child a good microbiome, a diversity in their gut already, which actually grows the child actually. So
Mhm.
I use the baby and the children as an example to show, and even small animals, they always gravitate towards those things. And I say, well, a lot of things are learned behavior.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there's learned toxic behavior. A lot of times in our communities, the Coca-Cola sign is the biggest thing on the highway, and
Yeah.
it's always got, maybe a donut in the back, or the pretty girl, the drinking it down. So, it's catching your eye, and you say, oh, well, hey, that must be good. It looks delicious. And then
Mhm.
you try that Coca-Cola, but you never research that Coca-Cola, right? And
Mhm.
how it's made and what it's made of and what it's doing to your body, right? Because if you give a baby Coca-Cola, they're not going to want it.
Mhm.
Trust me, I've tested this stuff. So I like to use elementary examples like the children and animals to say that, listen, before you were educated on what to eat, you already were gravitating towards the most natural and healthiest things for you to eat in the first
Mhm.
place, which was first your mother's milk and
Mhm.
then raw fruits and vegetables.
You know, as individuals, we crave certain things, right? If you know, offhand, would you know when our body is craving something salty or something sweet? What is the go-to to fulfill that salt um, need or that sugar need?
Go-to for salt is could be anything from chips to any type of junk food. Uh,
Right. Not in that terms. Like
oh,
our body needs something, and so it is telling us it wants sugar or wants salt. But
okay.
um, in retrospect, we may need some magnesium or some something.
Right. Okay, no, I understand, right? Yeah, no, because their go-to is not most people's go-to is not what they need. But
Right.
yes, you're absolutely right, and you touch on a very key thing there because I do my best to try to teach people to pay attention to their own body. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're constantly craving that sugar or like you say salt, then yes, your body's saying I need this nutrient, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wants the purest form of that nutrient. Now that's where we have to come in and say, hey, well, all salt is not created equal. All sugar is not created equal, right? So where do I get my source from that sugar from? And that's when I go back into the lifestyle to say, listen, prep you some fruits and vegetables in some containers and just pop them in the car. Always have these things on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Make your own potato chips. Me and my wife, right now we're experimenting making healthy junk food, because we're snackers, right?
Right.
And nothing wrong with that. It's a comfort thing. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, salt or iodine, you're actually our bodies actually crave iodine in the
Mm-hmm.
way that we want things. We want foods that are actually heavy, high in iodine, and we don't even know that, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So these different things that you take into consideration, but you may not think that it's that I need the nutrient. You may just say, "Oh, it's a craving," right?
Right.
Because you're fighting sometimes, largely, worms and parasites because they have cravings too. So
Wow.
so there's the nutrient deficient piece, and then there's the worms and parasites craving piece. And that's where you get into the quality of sugar that you actually intake. Because the worms and parasites want high fructose corn syrup, right? They want the white sugar. They want the
Mhm.
Krispy Kreme because the light is on, right? But the body needs sugar because your brain loves sugar, right? It stores sugar. Your liver will store it. You use it as energy, as one of the main nutrients that the mitochondria in your DNA uses is glucose or sugar, right?
Mhm.
It's fuel. It's a major fuel for that power plant in your cell, mitochondria.
Mhm.
The mitochondria within DNA, which you actually can only get from your mother. Very
Mhm.
interesting there. Yeah, very interesting there. So I go into a whole piece there, but yes, that you're very right. It's like if your body is craving certain things, be mindful of that, but
Mhm.
also mindful of those parasites and worms and that type of craving. And that's what we get into, like, fasting to get them puppies out of there.
I was about to ask you that. How do you get it out? It's just basically fasting, or is there certain things that we should be eating?
So there's so many levels, right? Some have had these things for years. You take 20, 30 years of toxic eating, you're not going to just reverse it tomorrow. And this is where I kind of I have a disdain towards some of the holistic community right now because it's a $3 billion industry, not for no reason, okay?
Yes.
We're selling a lot of products and people are still not being healed.
Mhm.
Okay, got a lot of false testimonies out there. You wait on it and wait next year and see what that happened to them. That
Mhm.
same thing that you cured today, it manifests as cancer in the throat next year or 5 years down the line. Why? Because they didn't get to the root problem. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that worms and parasites are the only problem.
Mhm.
So, yes, and fasting is one way to incorporate it, but you definitely have to. I say all the time, my go-to is go raw and fast.
Mm.
Go raw and fast and juice. Why? Because parasites and worms don't like that,
Oh.
right? And also there are things like called bentonite clay. So bentonite clay, a pure bentonite clay is basically just volcano ash, right? It's pure volcano ash. You can buy it even on Amazon. And you take that, you ingest that, and what it does, it has like a chelating factor, and it will bind up those parasites and worms, and you will literally poop them out in the toilet. Legit.
So I heard of bentonite clay
Mhm.
in terms of using it for children with autism, where you put it on their bodies. Is that a true fact or is that a myth?
So I'm not sure. I don't want to. I haven't delved in that research in regards to autism because autism, like most conditions, aren't taught properly. The cause of these things aren't taught properly. It's kind of swept under the rug
Mm-hmm.
with vaccinations, right? So I don't want to flag your platform because we know we can and cannot say sometimes, but
Yes,
it's
yes.
not just vaccinations though. It's not just. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of some myriad of different conditions that cause these things. So no, I haven't researched in regards to bentonite clay and autism, but
Mm-hmm.
I do know that diet can play a instrumental part in helping that condition.
Okay. My last question, and then I'm going to give you a free for all. How important is regular medical checkups and screening for maintaining optimal health?
Well, I definitely say always get your blood work,
Mm-hmm.
right? Always go get your blood work, get a thorough blood work, get your thyroid, get your T levels. Men get your testosterone, women as estrogen. Get your levels and see where you may have a deficiency at. See where your cholesterol is at, right? Get you an EKG, get you a physical, right? I'm not saying that we should just wash the entire Western medical field down the drain
Mm-hmm.
completely anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, there is some value there,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is some value there. But what I want to do is I want to arm the person when they go in with education so they know what exactly to ask for, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're asking for blood work, they're asking for the history on conditions,
Mm-hmm.
and first and foremost they're not their go-to shouldn't be the pharmacia or the pharmaceuticals, right? That shouldn't be their go-to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, get a physical, get your blood work, then take your blood work back home. um Look at that physical.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me, I need to plug up my trusty
Anything happens when you go
yeah.
live.
Yes. All right. Here we go. I apologize. Yeah.
No problem.
And so I like to, let them know.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of undone here. There we go. My apologies.
No problem.
Um, yes, by all means, though, get your physical blood work and then take that home. And then now you work on yourself or get some help, someone like myself, or, there's health coaches out there, and look at what your blood's doing, what your white count is doing. Have a high white count, white blood cell, you have an infection going on. you know um, Truth be told, a lot of people walk around with chlamydia and don't even know it. So
Mm.
the body's constantly fighting off. That's why I teach about the immunity, because your food is feeding your immune system and your ability to fight and ward things off.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the creator made our bodies self-sufficient. It
Right.
made it self-correcting. So yeah, I would say definitely get you a physical, definitely get your blood work. I would remove, I would back away from the pharmaceuticals as my go-to. I would take the opinion of the doctor. I would also get more than one, but I definitely would enlist someone with a naturopathic or holistic background and education who has proven methods and actually literally care for people. That's not a requirement for your doctor. You don't know that. It's not a requirement for most health professionals that they actually have to care.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I think that's one of the things that's actually missing in regards to that. But yes, I would say get your physical and get your blood work.
Hmm. Great. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to, I don't want to say the word shine, but to share how can we get in contact with you? How do we get your book? I know you said Amazon, but can we get it from you directly so you can get all of your money? And then you also said it was free, or just the information in it free.
So no, the program that's in the back of the book is free because it's a
Yeah.
part of the book. The book is only $25. I think on Amazon. So for me, it's 25. On Amazon, it's like 29 because they just stick their hand too far down in your pocket, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Okay, but definitely you can get it from me. I have a website, www.goodgroundseed.com.
So goodgroundseed.com is his website. And maybe he'll come back in while I'm speaking. But if you go to that website, you'll be able to find other things that he has. He also does workshops. He facilitates. He breaks down our health on different levels. And so it would be a good resource for you to check him out on his website, as well as purchasing his book off of Amazon. And yeah, so go to Good Ground Seed for um, to find out more about Jason Bankston. I'm trying to kill time, and hopefully he will come right back. But since we are talking about our health, I am going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Oh, you're back. I was about to take.
Oh, I apologize.
It's okay. Anything happens when you go live. It can happen on my end. Actually, it happened to me one time. We had a bad um, storm, and I went out, but my guest just kept flowing. She just kept going, and that was a blessing.
Oh, oh no, I greatly apologize. I'm not sure my power. I don't know, right? I think the information is getting a little too hot here, too hot and heavy.
It was. Give us the name of your book again.
So yes, it is Have a Heel of a Time. I have a quick copy here. I'm not sure you guys.
Yes, we can
Yep,
see that
yep.
perfectly.
Have a Heel of a Time. How to repair your immune system with a 6-month wellness program. And like I said, the program is free. It's in the back of the book, and I give some tips in regards to the program. And the book, like I said, is $25 from me. I charge a little, $29 on Amazon. You can go to my website, www.goodgroundseed.com. So that's good as in good job, and ground as the ground we walk on, and seed as what we plant for fruits and vegetables. So goodgroundseed.com. I urge you greatly, just pick up a copy, gift a copy. I mean, this is a copy that you're going to want to have in your library for generations to come, and that's what I was commissioned to write. By the Most High, basically said, give them something they can eat for generations, right? I have a lot of information. I literally have a chart in there to what foods are what nutrient. And you can reverse engineer that if you have these signs or symptoms, that it's this nutrient deficient. Your vitamin A, whatever it may be. I literally have a chart in there for you, and I walk you through step by step. A lot of high level information brought right down to where the everyday person can actually understand. And that's what I really wrote it for. I get a lot of flack from the medical community, and they say, oh, you don't have enough 18 syllable words in here. It's fine. You're not my audience, right? So,
to learn who your audience is. What is your handle on social media?
So social is also goodgroundseed.com or goodgroundseed. So at goodgroundseed on IG.
Groundseed.
Yes. I'm mostly on IG and LinkedIn. So you'll see me there and also Jason Bankston on LinkedIn as well. I'm there as well. So folks contact me for like speaking engagements through LinkedIn. Excuse me, and also my website. So I love to come out. So please don't hesitate. Text me, contact me. I love to come out and speak about these things. If it's your church, your school, your business, whatever the case may be, I am very passionate about this. This has totally been his will for my life. Like, this has been a calling, right? And I just want to do my best with this. I want to do my best. So yep, that's where you can find me. And I welcome you.
Awesome. If you have any questions at this time for Jason, this will be a great opportunity. You can speak to him live through your comments. You can do that before we go off the air. But you can also reach out to him on Instagram and LinkedIn, and also his website. And that will stay in the feed so you can go back and view that. Okay.
Thank you.
Any closing remarks that you want to close out? Feel free to be led. You can go spiritual. You can go, educational, whatever it is that you decide to do, you can do that at this time.
Hallelujah. So is there any, I want to make sure there's no questions first, because I don't want
No,
to.
no came up yet.
Okay, all right, no worries, no worries. Yes. So at the end of the day, what is it really all about, right? It has to be about um, life is more important than just the things that are given to us, right?
Mhm.
We all want nice things and live a lovely life, but at the end of the day, if you believe in the creator, then you need to have a personal relationship through what he has left for us, right? And he has left his Torah for us to find him, right? To trace him back and to show us just how special he really sees us, right? How special are you for you to have had this relationship all the way back from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So he's not a being that is given to change so easily, right? There's even the scripture in Malachi says, "I change not," right? But we know that he does evolve, right, and brings us along, and that's why we're supposed to grow from faith to faith, right? And that's even how we are supposed to do the works that Yahusha did, and even greater works, right? So I'm gonna just put it out there that a body of people who are mentally and physically and spiritually sick and unclean and heavily laden with demonic influence is not going to do the works of Yahusha, and they are not going to do even greater works than Yahusha. They're not going to do that. So we need to really look at what we're doing, right? We were a sovereign people where we had our own land, we grew our own food, we had well water, we had fire, the sense of power, right? We had our family together, our elderly and young within the gates. We had a different lifestyle. We didn't exhaust all our talents and energy on careers and making a satanic system rich, because that's actually what you're doing, right? This is things that we have to actually be real with ourselves about, right? And the solution is going to be coming together under the Most High Yah's banner, right? And under his banner is the Torah, under his banner is the covenant, and under his banner is health. Health, right? Health is the original state of mankind. He created Adam and Eve in a garden in health. You know, they didn't go along and say, "Oh, I have diabetes," or "I have a heart murmur," or "I have a stroke or kidney failure," right? They weren't bipolar. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have these conditions, you see. So we have to look at and research what happened. When did these conditions come into play? And you will see, and even I put it in my book, it's during the second industrial revolution, where you have a lot of thallium and nickel and cadmium and things being released in the air just from building and manufacturing, along with the electricity and the Wi-Fi. Listen, okay? But before you get there, you have to start at the source. And the source is what made your heart. Your heart has electricity. It has the SA node, the AV node, and Purkinje fibers. Your heart starts and pumps with electricity. That electricity is given to us by the Most High Creator Yahuwah, right? You are electrical, okay? And you have to get in touch with that source, that being, right? That has put that electricity there in every heart, okay? And so returning to him, returning to his diet, returning to his way of life and lifestyle, how we conduct ourselves, his way of thinking, right? Returning to those things are sure to correct all that has happened today. Now, I know there's prophecy and things involved. There's things that must take place, things that must happen. I understand completely. But nevertheless, it does not absolve us of the responsibility that we have, right, to care for one another, our minds, body, and spirit, right? And so I'm just another servant who's taking up my mantle, and I'm joining the laborers arm in arm and saying, well, hey, this is what I can add. Here's my value. Here's what I can do. And I pray that it will be a blessing to you, right? As you water and bless me, because he who waters should be watered as well, right? So I say to you, ask questions. If you don't know, pray. Ask the Most High. What am I here to do? What am I here for? You know, and how should I go about doing that? Get in touch with the Creator as a relationship. Don't just tuck him off on Sabbath and tuck him off in the corner on your Sunday or your holidays or the Sabbath. Don't just tuck him off in there. No, every facet of your life, right? I think it was Solomon said, lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him. So in all our ways, the food we eat, the lifestyles we lead, right? Our marriages, our parenting, right? The careers or jobs that we do have, right? Right. All my ways, right? I lean to him, right? And so returning to that is a key instrumental thing. And I think once we can collectively do that as a body, we will see dramatic things happening. We will see the works that Yahusha did. We will see the greater works through the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Because that Ruach HaKodesh given to us is given to us in power, and we must return to the power. If we're very honest, most of the body is void of the power. It's a lot of knowledge, a lot of education, but the power. Where are the people who are laying on hands and cancer is removed? Where are the people who said I had a demonic spirit and no longer have that? These people follow Yahusha and the disciples greatly to the ends of the earth. So many miracles that the man did that they could have put it in another entire book, it says in the scriptures. In the book of Acts, the apostles and disciples continued on in that same power. Even Paul said, I come not in the man's wisdom, but in the demonstration of the power, right? From the power that works within us. So there's more to it than just diet. There's more to it than what you feed in your body. As Yahusha said, man shall not live by bread alone. So in closing, I would just say, I thank you. I love this platform. Thank you, Sherry. You are a blessing and shining light. I pray a triple-fold blessing upon your platform right now in the mighty name of Yahushua HaMashiach, that it will go forth. We know it shall not return void. It will produce the fruit thereof. And I'm just very thankful for you for reaching out, and my sister Asha, who actually linked us up. Such a wonderful spirit, wonderful sister, outgoing, strong, and I'm just very thankful for her as well to even consider me,
Yes.
I'm a part of this healing community. It's not the shine is for us. The shine is for the Most High. Actually, we're just reflecting, getting a little glimmer there. The shine is for Him alone. No one can take His glory. So we're glad for that. So,
she's actually going to be on next week.
Okay. Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
She's going to be on next week. But we're going to come to thank you so much for availing yourself and letting Ruach HaKodesh lead you. And I thank you for just being honest and truthful with us, being raw and transparent, and sharing this information, because we need it for our health. We need it to be fit for the kingdom. I know it sounds cliche-ish, but how can we do the will of the Father if we're not well?
Yes.
And so maintaining after what has been given. So we've been given a lot of information tonight, and so we have to take heed to it. Please join us on Sunday for our panel discussion with our panel. We haven't been together in a while, and so I'm looking forward to it. What do you do when life be lifing? And dealing with the cares of life as believers. And that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday at 6 p.m. So please join us. Mark your calendars for March 17th at 6 p.m. Thank you again, Jason, for joining us. Hopefully, we'll get to have you back at some point. I enjoyed your teaching the word at the end, just allowing Ruach HaKodesh to take over. And so I thank you. for being a willing vessel tonight. And I know this won't be the last of us uh, uh, in this arena and on this platform. So I would welcome you back. It's already an open invitation.
All
And
right,
so
thank you.
you're welcome. We need to get that book into as many hands as possible. And don't go anywhere as we close out because I'm going to order my book as well.
All right, hallelujah.
Alrighty, you guys have a good night. Remember, it's okay not to be okay, just as long as we don't stay in that place. Have a blessed evening, everyone, and we'll see you on Sunday if Yahuwah says the same. Good night.
Join us again next week for another riveting, informative segment of His Will for Your Life podcast with Sherry